Why you sacrificing with basis?
I'm gonna kill you for
My erectile is not dysfunctional.
Let's use our president, for example.
Are you over 10,000 kilometers away from South Africa?
Conspiracy theorists.
I can open the door for you to join the Illuminati.
Good evening, everyone.
NippyCast.
Hey, how's it, guys? You good? NippyCast back at it. This thing of me forgetting the episodes is just bad. It's terrible, so terrible. I would literally forget what episode it is, but look, I'm just human. I'm just like you. You know that it's so bad that sometimes I forget my age. But I know, I think I turned... What did I turn this year? I think I turned 38 this year. So now, today at NippyCast, on this one, we're going to be discussing the future. What is the future? I'm saying this based on something that I got earlier on. Not even earlier on, last year actually. I got a song dated in the future. This song was, I think, I'll post it just now. It was, I think, the year 2026. I forgot the month and whatnot, but it says it's in the future. So I don't know if the producer was trying to get our attention to try to make it look like it's sophisticated and shit, or if this song was really coming from the future. So now the topic here today is the future. What is the future? A minute ago, when I started introducing myself and I talked about or spoke about, is there such a talked about? Is that the past tense, or spoke about, talked about, whatever? When I spoke about the future a minute ago, that was the past. Are we in the future now? Because now everybody now starts arguing, what if we're all in the past? Let me start with, you know me, and I like theories. There's a paradox of the scientists have been trying to do something we call time traveling to see if they can jump back and forth to the past and the future. So now the one guy asked, what if I go into the past? Let's say you've got a time traveling machine, then you go into the past. Let's let me use me as an example. Like I said, I'm 38, so if I travel back 38 years, not even 38 years, let's say, obviously you were conceived 9 months prior to that, so not even 30, let's just say, fuck it, let's say 40 years. And I designed a time traveling machine to the past, right, not to the future now, going back. There's something they're gonna call time traveling machine paradox. I'm not sure exactly if that's the right term I'm using now, but that's what I'm thinking they were basing it on, and as usual, wait for, maybe he's traveling into the future. So the paradox means that if you go into the past, then you meet, for example, your grandfather, and then maybe you disagree with each other. What happens is that now, maybe let's say you kill your grandfather. Do you know what that means? The paradox would mean that you have killed your father, hence you might not be born, or it might not result into your future. That's the paradox, right? This is just based on time traveling machine. And then there was also another group of people that spoke about, I don't know if I'm making this clear. You can't go to the past and get rid of people that gave birth to your people, because you might not exist. You might not have a future. It's a paradox. It's like somebody who wrote this paradox. I forgot how it goes, but it was like that. So, okay, before I go to the next one, let me use a reference of Back to the Future, the movie Back to the Future.
Do you remember the future?
You've got to come back with me.
Where?
Back to the future.
Are we back?
We're back.
What do you mean we're in the future?
October 21st, 2015.
Marty, we're going to be able to see our wedding.
Wow. The future. I gotta check this out, Doc.
Look what happens to your son.
He's a complete wimp.
Don't talk to anyone. You've been looking.
Hey, look!
Don't touch anything.
I need to borrow your hoverboard.
And try not to look at anything. I didn't invent the time machine to win at gambling.
I can't lose.
I invented a time machine to travel through time.
Hey, Doc, I'm all for that. What's wrong with making a few bucks on the side?
Now,
The time continuum has been disrupted, creating an alternate 1985.
there have been a few changes.
It's like we're in hell or something.
No, it's Hill Valley, although I can't imagine hell being much worse.
But they'll all be back.
Eat less, slackers!
Biff?
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Well, that can't be you. You're so big.
Michael J. Fox. Christopher Lloyd. Michael J. Fox.
More like a couple of teenagers, you know?
And Michael J. Fox.
Mom, is that you?
Steven Spielberg presents a Robert Zemeckis film, Back to the Future, Part 2. Coming November 22nd to theaters everywhere.
I've done concepts like this prior at radio stations where we play music from 1970 whatever, and then I will sync it with something from 2000 and whatever, and then I would call that concept Back to the Future. The oldest song that I saw there was some stuff that was done from the biblical era, which is some material that was sampled by, it's just that I can't play it here because they're going to block the song here. It was sampled by Nas. I think it was in 1999. That was the first time I heard that sound. But when I researched it, it took me back all the way to, I think it was like 70 years old, you know. So, and then this is the beginning of music and the era of the future of the music. So the person who made that song, in whatever number of, I'll look it up and I'll put it up here. If you're going to design a time-traveling machine to the future, and then we are about to put it in a poll, like in a voting station, to say how high risk of this or how low risk of this is it to humanity. To say, do you want them to see what's going to happen tomorrow, or do you want them to see what happened yesterday? We know what happened yesterday. I mean, all of you are watching this shit. Some shit happened yesterday, right? That is the past. So now the argument here is, how do we know what is going to happen tomorrow, which is the future? 1 second. Now, so now the dynamics of that, let's unpack this one, because the dynamics of that is, even if you're going to say people should have a poll or vote for it and have a strike and say, we want a time-traveling machine, we want a time, where do you want to go? To the future. Where else? To the past. Okay. When do you want it? We want it now. Now it's irrelevant to it, because if you're going to get this machine, go strike for it in the past, or go to the future and make sure that this machine is there. It's so difficult to understand what God designed to be the past and the future, because ever since I started speaking to you here for the past 8 minutes, it was in the past and now we're in the future. So the difficult part of it is that if you get a machine that tells you what the future is, don't you think you'll manipulate it? Don't you think you'll, let's just say in this machine, they show you how to, we've seen movies, even in Hollywood movies, where people do time traveling and all this nonsense. Okay, it's not nonsense. I hope nobody from the future is watching this. I hope Terminator doesn't come. Now it's like, go. Hey, you said nonsense. Hasta la vista, baby. Yes, but don't you think somebody will manipulate the existence of this machine if it needs to happen? Because I'm thinking, in the future, can I give my predictions? Am I allowed? Before we go to the song, I don't know if these guys will let me play this song now, or if I should play it in 2026. That's if it's showing. What if they're sending us a message and then me, I'm just behaving like a lumpent here? Yeah, I think that whoever the producer was probably just put the wrong date. But it gave me a topic now of what is the future. So, what if I would want to know how I would die, or I'd want to know how the world will end in the future. Why wasn't that communicated with us? Because I believe that your future ends when it stops. And then if you're going to argue, Ori, what happens after you're dead or prior that, if you didn't see anything before you were born, do you remember anything that happened prior your birth? I'm going to wait for it. I'm sure you're thinking, no fucking way. What makes you think that you're going to see anything after your death? I'm not going to wait for that answer because it's going to be bullshit. You're going to have to ask dead people, right? But that's their future. So we don't even know where this future is going. Right now, but now we're in the future of what we're doing. So what happens is every day when you wake up in the morning, get off your bed, go take a shower. That's your future. And go to work, step in an office. That's your future. Work. Work. Or drive around. A car like that just went past now. Whatever the fuck you're doing, or me as a DJ, just DJ the whole day. DJ for like, whatever, 10 hours. You know, that is your future. So I don't really understand why you want to refer this thing as the future. And then how do you predict this? Because it's impossible. And then nowadays we've got people who will tell you things that they foresee happening. And then the question is, where do they come from? So they might be coming from the future, or they might be lying to you. Because if somebody was sent in the future to protect the world, they should have protected us against a bacteria called COVID-19. The year was 2019 in December in Wuhan, China. It only landed in this country, I think it was around April or March, somewhere there. Some white people were skiing there in Italy, and they brought back the bacteria. I'm not blaming them. The bacteria was still going to come here anyway, whether it was them or whoever. But their future was just to come with this for that. And our future as the whole country now is to just make sure that we are okay and we're healing. And we've been doing okay. We've been losing people. There was a time when I was so tired of burying people. I was so tired. You know, I've never been tired of burying people. Never been. It's so draining to an extent where we're burying. I didn't know that future. I never saw it coming. We're burying another relative. In that one burial, I was told about another close bloodline, close relative. Then I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We keep dying, we're dying and dying, you know? So, I don't know. Like, right about now, the future, you wouldn't even know the noise in the background if it was in the future or if it was in the past. So, am I supposed to conclude this one now? Because I still have more examples. The future would be the saw. Now, if this, let's just say hypothetically speaking, if this guy really sent this song from the future, what message are they sending, and what message am I supposed to reply to? Because I've been avoiding this song. But the problem is, with internet and all the files, they sit there at the top. So if you've got a song from the future, it will always be like the dominant one. It will always be like, I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this? Then today I played it. I'm like, okay, cool. What if it's a message? How would I know? And how do I communicate back if it is like that? And then whose fault is it? Are they sending a message? Yeah. I don't know. That's when I was like, okay, let me do a podcast on this one, because it's gonna be the most difficult thing to dissect, because it might be from the future. It might be somebody fucking up or fiddling up with what our current position. Like the last time I did a podcast of religion and science, and between the two of them, they at least allow us that the future is going to happen. The difference is that the other one will say, God will show us. The other one will say what? The sun will burn out. That's the science part of it. I don't want to go that direction. Yeah. In fact, it's funny. There's two episodes that we did over the past 2-3 weeks or so, ever since we came back from last year, which is 2022 now. Science versus religion, and another one was racism. It was so bad. I didn't see that future coming at all. And then I didn't mean to offend anyone on that. If there's anybody who watches this thing and they felt offended, it had nothing to do with that. I was just trying to express how people feel like. And remember, what I was basing it on was in the past. And then usually, if you don't use history to safeguard your future, then you're fucked, because you need to use some sort of knowledge from the past to go further, you know. Well, which is part of the future. You don't even know. Even now, after watching this thing, you don't even know what your future is. Let me leave it at that. NippyCast volume, which I keep forgetting, volume. It should be volume 20 or 1920. 1920? 1920 is a year? Or 1920 was a year, yeah, 100 years ago. Oh, that was the time when the first pandemic of flu came up. It was actually in 1918. So it's what did I say? 1920. How did I come to 1920? How did I get my mathematics? You see, the future is fucking with us. There was a time. Oh, let me finish off with this one, because I thought I was going to finish up. There was a time when I was chilling with this chick. It was somewhere in Maboneng, downtown. What she did is, she said she's listening to the universe. I'm like, how do you know where the universe is? Because we don't even know. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I told you. Oof. They're just barking at a future or a passerby. Racist dogs. They only bark at black people. I'm kidding. So that chick was like, she's listening to the universe, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know where the universe is sitting, and how the hell do you equate your existence on it? Are you there, or are you outside, or are you within, or do you think it even gives a fuck about your existence? She's like, no, man, I'm just going to listen to the universe. I'm just going to listen to the universe. It's the same thing as a guy like, a guy like Smooth. He's hugging trees, and he says he's speaking to Mother Nature. That's how I reacted to that whole thing. I'm like, okay, if this tree was there the whole time in your past, why was it not part of your future? Or is it what is happening now? Is the tree talking to you? What in the fuck is going on? Because I mean, in the black society, we don't believe in this type of nonsense. Like, I'm hugging a tree. There's a theory of it. Like, a tree is essential. Well, look, I'm not going to discard the future of existence of humanity, because even if we all die now, we will be probably manure, or in Chivenda we call it manure, like dimfudze. Yeah, we will be a manure for the plants. Even some of the dead people, there's some trees growing up there. So what if, it sounds like a white if this one, what if the tree is your ancestor? But you don't know that. You'll realize it when you're dead. You only see it in the future of yourself. This is funny. He's hugging trees. Oh, and I was watching that thing. I'm like, okay, so you're hugging trees. What the fuck? You look like you're out of your mind. I'm like, okay, let me not judge. I don't know, should I hug a tree as well? I don't know. If you try it out, I don't know if it works. But also that if there's anybody else in the world that can predict your future, could be a tree you're hugging, because the trees are older than all the generations here. I can tell you now, this tree behind me here is probably older than this house. I don't know, there's a way to calculate this, but you're gonna have to chop the tree and calculate the rings on the thing, on the wood. Every ring has got a year on it. So if it's got like 80 rings, it means that it is 80 years old. And it does that all the time. So, but you can't tell its future while you just found it here, and then you're going to try to chop it, and then, you know, you don't hug it. Am I forgetting something? Oh yeah, the song. If this song is really from the future, we all thought maybe the future is Amapiano. I don't know, but as a DJ, I'm not going to fall into this bandwagon of a song that has got a date from the future. Well, but if they want to talk, if they are from the future, if anybody's watching from the future, this sounds fucking insane. Actually, wait a minute. I've got another theory that I've heard before of, but this one is of scientists. It's one of those of astrophysicists. Apparently, allegedly, what you can do... Oh, let's wait for the pilots. In fact, when I was growing up, our future was based on our hope of a plane passing by to say, "Wabiena Masimba," meaning that bring us some snacks, snacks. Obviously, Simba was the only brand that was dominating in our society. And we'll be telling that guy, do you think that guy can hear this thing? When because he's actually going to another timeline altogether. In fact, this is a good idea. Thanks the pilot for this one. Apparently, there's places where you can fly in on New Year's Eve, like on New Year's Eve on the 31st. And then you can have New Year's Eve and do fireworks and whatnot. And then you can get into a plane, like that plane, and jump into another place. And then have another New Year's Eve. So technically you can do 2 New Year's Eves on the one night. You know. Yeah, so Wabiena Masimba. And we really believe that they're going to come back. You know what? They actually came back because in Africa, there's some countries where they throw maize meal from the helicopters. Maybe they're it's not funny. Like Rwanda, I saw the other time. They will just put a helicopter, America, UN, or is it America, UN? Put thing, and then people just stand on the ground and throw it. I think even Ethiopia, Somalia, Ethiopia, Rwanda, it was at some stage one of those people used to get those. And that was the past. So now the question is, what is their future? The future is not predetermined. Besides by the guy who put us here. The same guy who made this thing to become a podcast. The same guy that I'm sure you're going to refer to as God. I don't care what religion it is, but the same designer of this is the one that knows your future. Unless if you can prove it otherwise, but you're going to have to convince me a lot of times. And I'm open-minded. I don't worry about a lot of bullshit. NippyCast, volume, whichever that I will keep forgetting. Sure. This is Back to the Future edition.
Why are you sacrificing with babies?
I'm gonna kill this one. My erectile is not dysfunctional.
Let's use our president, for example.
Are you over 10,000 kilometers away from South Africa?
Conspiracy theorists.
I can open the door for you to join the Illuminati.
Good evening, everyone.
NippyCast.